out of Deltarune Chapter 3 and 4, Toby is definitely hiding Chapter 4 more than Chapter 3, as we haven't got much information about that chapter. But I think the information he's shown us is also been edited to hide certain details. And this is where my theory comes in. This discovery was first made by a Twitter user, but I only saw the post and I didn't actually see what they saw. So I did it myself, and if anyone knows which Twitter user, leave a comment down below, and I haven't been able to find them since. But after editing the image we see from Chapter 4, if you edit this image that we see from Chapter 4 to be brighter, and look behind the enemies, you can see that the background is wrong compared to the rest of the image. What this means is that these two enemies have been pasted over whatever enemies were originally there, and could imply that Toby has done this to hide whatever enemies we're actually fighting. This is what it looks like unbrightened, so it's basically impossible to see. Okay, so this likely means that whatever enemies are actually here are still going to be these two enemies, but I feel like there's going to be a third enemy in between them, like we see with the Bardley fight. And whatever is being covered up is going to be important. Okay, so there's two types of characters who could be the ones that are hidden. First of all, someone we don't know. If this is the case, it has to only be the secret boss or main boss, because any other character I don't think Toby would care enough about. But I also don't think this is the case, because if it is a secret boss or boss, they always have a special background about wherever you're fighting them. But if it's just the normal background from normal battles, it's not going to be the bosses. So I don't think it's going to be them. And someone we know could be more likely, as it would make sense for why Toby is hiding them from us. And I think we can figure out which person that is based on the attacks we can see. There are three main attacks in this image. You have diamond attacks, fire attacks, and something like in between them. I personally think that the diamond attack and the third attack are going to be from the same enemy. As when an enemy attacks, if there's two of them, they both do slightly different attacks sometimes. So I think the weird looking diamond is just a secondary attack for the snake monster thing we see, which would then lead to the fire attack being whatever hidden enemy is. If it is the fire attack, then that does shorten out the list of enemies. It could be quite a lot. First off, Toriel. Toriel is a good person who we know who comes to mind. But the biggest issue with this is the fact that Toriel is going to be in Chapter 3, Dark World, and that would make Toriel the first character or Lightner, other than Chris and Susie, to be in two Dark Worlds. And it just feels more likely that we're going to see Noelle be the first to be in more than one Dark World, and Toriel just wouldn't make sense for her to choose to go to another Dark World. It could be, but I'm putting this at the bottom of the list. Also, why is Toriel fighting us? None of it really makes sense. Asgore also uses fire magic, and it also would make sense that he would become a ruler, and we are expecting him to be in a Dark World at some point. But the idea of him attacking Chris and Susie is really our character from what we've seen, and I really don't think this is going to be the case. Now, this is the first possible answer. I have two answers I think are the most likely, and actually somewhat believe in. And the first one is Azrael. This would make a lot of sense, because it would make sense why Toby is hiding it, because it would be a massive reveal that Azrael's come back. And also, it would make sense that Azrael's come back to hometown for the festival. And it is odd that Azrael is attacking Chris, but as we don't know anything about Azrael, it could be the case and it could work. But the main issues I have with Azrael are the fact that it feels like this event is gonna be later in the game than Chapter 4. And I also just feel like the church is just a weird one for Azrael to be in, rather than like the bunker or something. But other than that, I think this would be a really great twist and be quite possible. And I do have one more character I think it could be. And as I've shown, everyone we really have who uses fire magic is a goat. You might be able to see where I'm going with this, and I know the big thing is going to be like, oh, but we see Rousey in the Fun Gang fighting covers it, so Rousey can't be there. And when I first had the thought of Rousey, I also thought that I was like, oh no, it can't be Rousey because Rousey has to be fighting this enemy. But then I was doing some more testing with the image and I found something. I managed to overlap a chapter 2 battle. I did the same with chapter 1, but I think this is just better with Rousey looking the same. And I overlapped them so the UI and the battle box are both the same. So, for the sake of argument, this is as lined up as you can make it. And all of the Fun Gang are off. Susie by the least, Chris by the most, and Rousey just also just off. This means that not only are they hiding something in the enemies, but they also appear to be hiding something with the Fun Gang. And that's where Rousey comes in. Rousey is a goat, so it would make sense for Rousey to have fire magic. And the idea that Rousey goes against us in a chapter where every floor seems to have Deltarune or the sigil, and the Deltarune being the prophecy Rousey is following, it would make a lot of sense for Rousey to go with the boss of this world, as they most likely think the boss has something to do with the prophecy. So the boss would be able to gaslight Rousey into thinking that he has to go against us for the prophecy to work. And this also leads to some weird implications with Rousey hiding the fact that he has fire magic from us, which would make sense since Rousey has hidden stuff from us before, and could also be explained by the fact that Rousey doesn't want us to use doesn't want us to attack enemies, so wouldn't want us to use his powerful attack. Also, the idea of Rousey not being in our party is backed up by the fact that all of the actual footage we've seen from chapter 4 never actually shows Rousey to be with us. So Rousey might not be with us this chapter, might be against us. I don't think this means Rousey is going to be evil this chapter, but I do think it's likely that Rousey will be almost like Barley, where he is placed against us, but it's a misunderstanding or he's being tricked to. And those are my current thoughts on what could be happening in this scene and why it seems so faked. I know some of my friends think it could just be a test image that was used, but I do think it would be weird for Toby to use a test image in actual marketing, because this is the image on the Steam page. But if anyone has any other ideas for what this could mean, just comment down below, and just let me know what you thought of this theory. I think probably the day or one of the days after this video comes out, there's going to be a newsletter coming out, so I'm going to make a video on that. Well, I hope you enjoyed